Hey there, and we are live from my den. Another week of working from home. It's only the middle of the week, but man, oh man, not even. I mean, this time is flying by, which you'd think it would be flying by because everybody's working from home and supposedly bored, but the market is open, stocks are trading, bonds are trading, clients still have their investments. We've got SBA loans to talk about. I was in a conference, a Zoom conference that was hosted by two friends of mine with participation from a number of attorneys and CPAs, all about the CARES Act and what businesses could do. So let me know if this is something that you would like me to talk about, because it's there's so much to it. It's really not something that I feel 100% comfortable talking to you about. Just me. I have the basics down, but I don't think that's going to be helpful enough. I took karate a long time ago, and the class I was taking karate with, we went like from white belt to yellow to orange to green. I don't know. We were moving pretty quickly, and we're all feeling pretty good. We're all pretty athletic people, men and women in this class. This is going back a ways. And the karate instructor said, "You all know enough now just to get yourselves hurt." And that's how I feel about the CARES Act in terms. I mean, I have the retirement part down and the part for the personal consumers, but for the businesses and how you have to get your payroll numbers or your Form 941, et cetera, to your bank. We'll talk about that. But if you want to, I have some people who are very qualified to speak with you about that. And if you want somebody like that on the show as my guest in the next day or two, please let me know. So welcome to another episode of Be the Boss of Your Money. This is a particularly important day because it's like, here we go again, another big down day for the stock market. And it just seems like things are not just getting worse for the market, but we know what's going on in the rest of the world as far as coronavirus goes. So we've got a few things to get into. If you're watching this in the live, welcome to you. If you're watching this in the replay, welcome to you as well. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the comments. I will see them. I will get back to you. If I missed yesterday, I missed a question on LinkedIn, so I will answer that one today as well as reach out to that individual through address his question on LinkedIn as well. So without further ado, let's roll the intro. Okay, and we are back. So here we go. Dow down 4.4%, S&P down about 4.4%. Same thing with the Nasdaq. You know what? That's kind of unusual to see all three major averages down just about the same percentage. Wow, that's usually there's a bigger winner and and a bigger loser, but that's pretty even. So that's a little unusual. Small cap, the Russell 2000 index, which measures small cap stocks, down 7%. That's a pretty big hit. Just so you know, an index like the S&P 500, you cannot invest directly into an index, but you could invest in a security that tracks or mimics the index. Okay, so there are a number of things to go over. So here we are again, another down day, and it seems like last week's rally was just so far away, doesn't it? And here we go again, back to another tanking stock market. What's the cause behind the market? Is it that President Trump was on last night with a very sobering, a very sobering conference of 100,000 to about 220,000 expected deaths from coronavirus? Well, that certainly adds to the gloomy outlook, not to take away from the humanitarian catastrophe. And our prayers go out to everybody affected, families and people who are dying. The whole thing is awful. And but is it that the news just came up? Well, this came up after the market closed. New York City needs 3.3 million N95 masks and 400 ventilators by Sunday. So that's like saying now, good luck. It seems like it's not going to be possible to get all that material. but we'll see if we could move heaven and earth to get this taken care of. But what else was the driving force? So here's a perspective that I want to bring to you, because you can basically get the stats, how the market did, how each stock did every day yourself. What I want to do here, this is about investing, perspective, personal finance, business. So what I want to tell you is this. What today is about really is that now that the first quarter ended, so today's April 1st, starting next week, we're going to start receiving a ton of quarterly earnings reports, Q1 earnings announcements. And what do you get when you get Q1 earnings announcements? You also get Q2 earnings and revenue forecasts. And there's going to be fireworks here, folks. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be probably the ugliest quarterly forecast we've ever seen. I don't mean to be gloomy, but if I don't address the real facts of what's going on, then we're not providing any value to you, because we have decisions to make. Companies are going to come out and say how bad Q1 was because of the coronavirus, the shutdown, the uncertainty. And then they're going to talk about Q2 and Q3, maybe the rest of the year. So at Q4. And you're going to hear things like uncertainty, unprecedented. We don't know what to say. We have no visibility. No visibility. That'll be a really big one. Lowering guidance, withdrawing guidance. That's another big one that you're going to hear. Buyback suspended. We've already been hearing about that. And you're also going to hear about a lot more, I think, dividend cuts. So, a lot of people are hanging on to some stocks because, it pays a 6% dividend. I'm getting paid to wait. I think you have your head in a bubble. How about that? I was going to say you have your head up your wazoo, but we'll just say you may have your head in a bubble, because I think there's going to be a ton of dividend cuts, and companies are just not going to have good things to say. Hopefully this will be the swoosh that clears the decks for the sellers to get out of the way. We may test last week's low in this bear market and recession that we're in. I think people have to start getting comfortable saying we're in a recession. A lot of people are still saying, we might go into one. We may go into one. We are in it like you can't believe. So that's the story with that. So that's why the market has come down. I'll just show you a couple of things here while we're on the screen share, then I'll get off, okay? By the way, hey, Filippo, how are you, my man? It was great talking with you the other day, and I look forward to speaking with you again very soon. So if you could see here, the only gainer in the Dow Jones Industrial Average is Walmart, and it was only up less than 0.5%. But the next one was down 0.6%, and then you've got Boeing down 12%. That just gives you an idea of what kind of day it was when you're seeing a lot of these blue chip companies down 5, 6, 7, 9, 12% across the board. And you take a look at go to the S&P. The biggest gainer was only 2.6% in the S&P, but the biggest loser, Carnival Cruise Lines, down 33%. So that shows you how dramatically skewed toward the downside stocks were today. So not to say that there weren't any stocks that were up today, but the big stocks that count were the ones that really took it in the chin. Okay, so back to this screen. I'm going to get off the screen here. Oil continues. Well, oil was up a little bit today. West Texas Intermediate. Just if you don't know, by the way, there's two oils. There's West Texas Intermediate. That's the oil that we get, for example, from shale oil, the oil that comes out of Texas and Oklahoma, California. That's our West Texas Intermediate. And then you have international oil, like from the Middle East. That's Brent. And Brent and West Texas Intermediate often don't trade at the same price. Okay. So there are the big picture. So how are you getting along during this week? Are you still holding up? Are you starting to run through your stocks of of food and snacks, and you're getting down to the canned tuna? So I made some tuna fish today, and everybody just rolled their eyes at me in my household. We're a family of five, and everybody said, "Nah, we're not in the mood for tuna." So as long as the local restaurants are delivering, and the local restaurants are delivering, and the supermarkets are still doing curbside pickup, we're still out there. So it's a tough economy. I'm going to take a look, see if I can find anybody out there. We've got a couple of viewers out there. Hey, if you're viewing, thank you so much. If you have any questions, I would love to hear from you. All right. We'll take a look to see if there's anybody out there in Facebook land as well. Okay. Other than, okay, Filippo has another. We got a couple of comments out there. Okay. Filippo, hey, Mark, how are you? Good to see you out there. Filippo, yes, you like the intro song. This is the end of the world, but I really mean it to be. This is the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Okay, maybe today I don't feel so fine. Hey, Gary, great to see you. Thank you. That is really, really nice of you to say, man. I love that. Thank you. And I can't wait to get together with you and Jennifer when this whole business is over. And hey, Phil, great to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. You've always got a good perspective in this. Phil is a doctor as well, so he's got a pretty good perspective on all of this. Hey, Filippo, you got 2 weeks more of food if you ration. Yeah, well, you might have to ration. Listen, the national stay-at-home advisory is through April 30th. It's only April 1st. I think Florida and was it Wisconsin, Florida, and another state, the governors announced statewide stay-at-homes, essential employees have to work from home today. So we're getting some of that. The thing is, that's what we need. I would rather see the economy take a big hit now than have to drag this on forever and ever. The crest of the virus is supposed to hit in the next 2 weeks. That's what models say. And how do I know this? Because I'm reading the same news that you're seeing. But you couple that, it's tough to absorb all that information. Even if we expect it, it's still going to be a shock because it's lives lost. And we've got quarterly earnings to contend with. So I want to talk about buying because somebody asked me yesterday, and I didn't see it until after the stream was over. Eugene asked me, and if you're out there, Eugene, I hope you're watching, and I hope this answers your question. Should you buy now? Starting not last week, but the week before, when we were heading toward the bottom, and I gave my gloomy assessment, which I'm still getting a little flack for, but that's okay. Hey, I said I'm giving you a worst case scenario. And it was really gloomy. I don't think we have a worst case scenario on the table anymore. But yeah, I know what you're thinking. How could we have a worst case scenario than all these people who could die from COVID-19? The worst case scenario is a lot more dire than that. So should you buy? What I've been saying, so that's 2.5 weeks ago. I said I've become a buyer. Gingerly, small pieces, super high quality. And I also said I will upgrade on the downgrade. In other words, you have a stock you own and it's not so good, or you thought it was great at the time. But hey, listen, it takes a bear market to really find out what's good and what's not. And it's a good time to get out of what you think is not good anymore and upgrade your portfolio into better investments. Don't look at it like, oh, but I put thousands and thousands of dollars in a stock or an exchange traded fund and it's down a lot. If it's a stock, for example, and it's down a lot, well, maybe, don't look at it how much it's down. Look at it what it's worth, and if that money could be working for you in a better way in something else. Plus, you get the benefit of a tax loss if you are investing in a taxable account. So that's my, and if you do buy, also make sure that whatever you buy has a proper fit in your portfolio. I don't really want to see people run out there and buy a stock because, it's down. Let me stop sharing the screen here. Oh, one more thing. I actually looked at this morning, and the numbers are up across the board. What you see here in the green, to my right anyway, it's 192,000, just about 193,000 people recovered. If I had to take a guess as to when the economy, the market, everything starts to get back on track, it's when you see that enough people have had or been exposed to COVID-19 and have gotten through it. They call that herd immunity. When you start to see that go up, you'll probably see people who've had it uh, be getting the okay to go back to work and get back to their lives, but with a big warning to stay away from people who haven't been exposed to it yet. Still wash your hands, because you could still be a carrier of the virus just because of the physical aspects of the vapor from our sneezes and coughs and then touching and gross stuff like that. Okay, so this is the most important data right now in the whole world for everybody, whether if it's policymakers, investors. You see the United States is almost completely red. Western Europe is completely red. And China has a really big portion of red that also includes Japan, Korea, Singapore. There's a lot of red showing up. So every day, twice a day, at least, I look at this map. I usually leave it on my window open all day, and I check it once in a while, and it continues to go up. 206,000 confirmed positives in the United States. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing the screen. Stop screen. All right, you got the full Mitch here. Okay, so let's go through the comments. I could see the comments like this too. So Gary, I'm showing your comment because I really like your comment. Look at that cute picture of you and Jennifer. You guys are just the cutest. Hey, Keith Wilson. What's up, buddy? So glad you're there. And we said hey to Mark. Mark is out there. So now I want to talk to you about a couple of things for how to get through this. Okay. Everyone's different. So this is kind of blanket statements, but these are some tools available to you. You could, if you're under 59 and a half, you could make some pretty substantial withdrawals from your retirement account or your IRA. And if you pay the money back in three years, you won't get stuck with the taxes. And if you're under 59 and a half, you won't get hit with the 10% penalty either. The problem is at times, the times when you need money, that usually coincides with a recession and a bear market. So it stinks to have to sell into a bear market, because not only do you miss out on the upside, but now you could be missing out on years and years and years of compounding. But you have to do what you have to do. There is no shame in that. You'll just be better prepared for the next time and get through this. So that's one thing. I was on a conference today with Ben Cooper and Rich Tavares, two friends of mine. And, I'm looking at my screen right now from that. The CARES Act, by the way, it's the CARES Act, the Stimulus Act. It's called the CARES Act, Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act. Okay, here's what I wanted to say. For small businesses, what the government wants you to do is to get money from the Small Business Administration, and they will cover your payroll as grants. And even for companies with over 500 employees, that barrier has been removed. And you don't actually have to go in most cases directly to the SBA. You just apply for the loans. Your bank will front you the money, and then they'll get it from the SBA. That's the way I understand it, because the government said to the bank, just get the money out to the customers, and then we'll get the money to you, because we want people to get this money right away. People who make when you combine your Form 941s, you give a year's worth of salary as part of the application. Which, by the way, the application for what I'm talking about now for the payroll, the PPP loan, the Payroll Protection Program, it's a 4-page document. It's fillable. It's a fillable PDF online. I heard the site crashed already, and hopefully it's back up and running by now. But it's only 2 pages to fill out. You fill it out with the information that they need, and you should get the money very quickly. The only thing that'll be a delay is just because of the sheer volume of business owners who are applying for loans. But I was in a conference call today with 35 people in a Zoom call. I'm in a networking group. that has professionals from all different disciplines, and we're very into education. And it was really fascinating. The quality of the information that I got was incredible. So if you want me to have one of these people come on a guest and talk to you about the SBA programs and the EIDL, I think that's the right acronym for it. There's a number of ways for businesses to get money. The government wants you to get this money because they would rather do it this way than throw more people onto unemployment. I know a lot of people have already laid off a lot of employees, but maybe you could hire them back, do what you have to do, be a good guy. Look, the money for the payroll, it's going to be given to you. It's basically a grant. There are some stipulations with it, but from what my business owner clients and friends are telling me, that they're not too onerous. Okay, so does the payroll that you give include payroll tax and health insurance? What I am told is you just give them your payroll and don't look into it any more deeply than that, because the government probably won't get into it that way. So try to get as much as you can. The forgiveness on it can be for the payment of payroll, plus some rent and some utilities, but I think 75% of the money has to go to to payroll. Okay. Hey, Stacy, nice to see you. Thank you very much, Stacy. I really appreciate you coming out. Hey, Judy, love you. Judy is right over there, about 8 feet over there. Hi, say hi.
Hello.
Okay, we got it. You heard that? So Judy's right here. Hey, I'm working from home these days. Okay, listen, this is the way it goes. Greg, thank you for watching. Hey, Rob, good to see you out there. Keith, hey, Bob Marquis, good to see you out there. I'm really appreciative of you guys giving me your time. So I'm going to get going on this. We've been going on for about 20 minutes now. I'll check LinkedIn real quick. But if you have any questions, now would be a good time to ask them. If you don't think of a question you have, but you think of a question later, go back to the comments and ask. I check these things. And again, if you want me to have an expert in small business to come on to talk to you about the SBA loans, I have some bankers who are great at this stuff. Hey, Doug, oil or mayo? I'm going to go with mayo. Okay. Hey, James. James, I think you get the award for being furthest away geographically. Who's watching? James is a financial advisor in Australia. I know he does not have a pet koala bear. I asked him, and he also told me what a Vegemite sandwich is. Something I'm going to have to try. Okay, so folks, I'm going to get going. Thank you very much for watching. The only thing we could do now is watch, wait. We'll see what happens with earnings conference calls next week, how ugly it's going to be. For the clients out there, for my clients, you are positioned. We will get through this, of course, and we will all get through this because this will pass. Maybe we see some glimmers of hope of getting back to some kind of normalcy or less restrictions in May. We just all have to stay inside and hope that all of our neighbors do the same thing so we could finally kick this and stop the spread, and hope a vaccine comes out for next winter. And there you go. I'll speak to you soon. And wait, Filippo, you have a comment there? As a startup, I was not taking payroll since I am self-employed. Do you know if we can apply for the grant user funds for business expenses like technology and marketing? You could use some of it. You have a cable bill, leasing vans or whatever. You could use some of it, but that's why I want to have a guest on who's a real expert who can answer all of these questions, because like I said at the top of the show, I know just enough about this stuff to hurt somebody. Okay, so let me know if you want that guest, and I will now end the broadcast. Folks, I really appreciate you all so much. I'll be here again tomorrow at 4:30. Bye.